Okay, the final group on the ice. Here, Mark. Do we have more questions? You're the master of the question period of time. Let's
Yes.
look at your standings so far after 3 groups.
It's been a good men's event so far, and excited to see what will happen in the final group. Will Japanese skaters be triumphant in both the women and the men's event? We'll find out soon. In the meantime, thank you again for the questions, and we have questions coming in on different channels, and one of them, or some of them, from YouTube. And we have Earthling asking, how difficult is it to refrain from commenting on the mic? We've touched on that already, that we can't help but be moved by some of these performances and very excited, and I think that's something we've just got to rein in. You're much better at that than I am, Ted.
How is
Staying
it
calm and
difficult
composed, to refrain from commenting on the mic when the performances are good or bad.
During the performance or after?
I think during the performance.
Yeah, you know, that's okay. Good question. And our philosophy on the junior has always been: listen, the judges pay attention from the beginning of the music to the very end. That's what they need to do, and that's what I want the audience to do. So I don't want to interfere with talking about something that goes by so quickly that you're all of a sudden talking about something that happened in the past. So let's not confuse it. Let's set it up. Let's watch the performance, enjoy the performance, do the analysis after. So I would say this is easier. I had to do Worlds this season, and I found it a little bit challenging to talk to the beginning because I thought people would say, why are you talking during the performance?
Let me enjoy the skating.
Yeah, but got the feel of it, and certainly you have a lot of experience in that.
Absolutely. Another question coming in on Instagram from @Emil_0015. Interesting one, a good one. Does a higher free leg in the air lead to a lower GOE? And the judges have very set criteria. All of the judges officiating at this event have to go through very clear criteria, and there are a list of reductions for errors and poor air position. That requires -1 to -3 reduction in the GOE. So if the skater has a leg wrap.
Yeah, a little bit of history with that. In the old system, 6.0 system, the leg wrap was kind of frowned upon, although there was not a specific deduction. Most often the judge would say, well, that's, you know, not really, and it's, you know, wobbly in the air. Then when the judging system came in 2002, or 2004, I guess, it wasn't reflected in that. It now is in the air position. So yes, it does affect it. It slows the rotation down, makes it way more difficult for the athlete.
And it brings us to a fascinating technical debate. There's been a lot of debate as to the absolute optimal speed of rotation position. As we look now to our sport transcending into seeing more quadruple jumps, I've heard lots of different theories as to how to increase that speed in the air, and certainly that's something that all of the athletes are looking to do, to squeeze a faster rotational speed with the chances of doing quad jumps.
2 types of jumpers. One that gets a lot of air time might rotate slowly on the way up, fast on the way down, which is harder to check out. And those that don't jump so high but are quick into rotation have a little bit more time to check out on the end.
And I think that's one of the things that's so interesting, seeing on this, the Junior Grand Prix, seeing so many different techniques and approaches to the jumps. So one interesting one from Tanya Gerasimic. Do you think loop jump must have a higher base value than flip or loops?
Well, personally, I don't. Loop jump takes off of 1 foot. That would be the difficulty because you're only using 1 foot. But it is also more controlled. If you watch a loop jump entry, you'll always see that free leg tucked in front, so there's not a lot of deviation. You can upper body a little bit too much sometimes, but I think the flip jump and the Lutz, they have a complication of the timing of the push-up of the left leg with the picking of the right leg. So the timing is a little bit more difficult, so I think the values are accurate in this case. That's just my opinion. People may have difference.
And all of the skaters have a different preference. Some of the skaters will probably say that their favorite jump is dependent upon the day that they're having, but
exactly.
Different skaters tend to favor others, and it's, as we touched on a little bit yesterday in the women's event, not everyone such a lover of the axel, and that's why we've seen perhaps in the women's event skaters opting to go straight ahead into quad jumps over devotion to the triple axel, which is the more conventional approach. As a generalization, skaters will work on salchos and toe loops first, then the loop, then the flip, then the loops, and then the axel.
Good questions. Good questions.
Yeah, keep them coming. We've got an educated and intelligent and eager audience, and we love to hear from you
I hope we're not confusing people. They ask the question, they're going, oh, well.
Did that make it any better, or did that make it worse? So please keep checking in. The hashtag is JGP Figure for the Junior Grand Prix Series. And as Ted has said, we will be joining you, sometimes Ted alone, sometimes myself alone, but we'll be helping commentate on this series for the duration of the 7 events, leading towards the Grand Prix final, which will be in December, where the junior skaters that qualify for that event will be able to share the ice with the seniors, who will be on location as well, as the senior Grand Prix final takes place around the same time.
We're at the start of the skating season, 7 weeks of junior, 6 weeks of senior, culminating with the junior and senior Grand Prix final in Torino, and then starts the championship portion of the season with the Europeans and the 4 continents World Championships.
And it really, I think it's such an exciting year because we're start of that new Olympic cycle, and so we've seen some amazing battles in the men's. If we're looking at the men's event now, in the men's senior ranks over the last 4 years, we saw that wondrous contest between the likes of Yuzuru Hanyu and Nathan Chen. It was fascinating interest for skating fans around the world.
And the next generation will deliver someone else to replace that. We don't know who. And over the next few years, we'll start to see those athletes evolve and emerge.